Oh, we're back. John and Jim with you here on the wrap-up show, and the Padres are 1-0, thankfully. And the wrap-up show is back for season 6 after starting somehow in 2020. So John and Jim with you on the wrap-up show. Really good day for the Padres and their fans. So we'll react fully. If it's your first time here or if you've been with us for years, please subscribe. Year-round content for Padres fans. Smash the like button for us. You can follow us on X at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. We'll get to every super chat here tonight. We appreciate your support of the channel. Click the $ below the chat box. We will get to every super chat. If you have a question, comment, you just want to support, you want to control the direction of the conversation, we'll get to the super chats. Click the $ below the chat box. If you want to become a member, click the join button down below. This reminded me, Jim, and thank you, Danny, for the membership. Thank you, Vector53, for the first super. We'll get to them all here coming up in a moment. We appreciate you guys. This reminded me, Jim, of the 2024 Padres. Down, rally. Down, rally. They trailed 3 times in this game. They use hit and runs, stolen bases, timely home runs from unsung heroes, Gavin Sheets. And the Padres score 4 runs in the 7th inning. Their bullpen does the rest, and they win on opening day in front of a sellout crowd. And a beautiful day. We were down there, 7-4.
Yeah, it was very reminiscent of last year's team. We got a grit squad from Shildt today in postgame. I don't know if you caught that. So we are officially back when Shildt drops a grit squad. But I think the thing to me that stood out the most was just the aggressiveness on the base paths. Actually, that shouldn't surprise me because Shildt, that's who Shildt is. And right away, this team was causing havoc on the base paths. They got down early, didn't panic, regained the lead there. I mean, we'll talk about how much of a stud Jackson Merrill is in a second here. But yeah, it was a very 2024-esque, being resilient type of game. And I thought it was just a great way to start their season. Kind of reminded me a little bit of last year's opening day as well. Remember that? They were trailing the Giants.
They scored 2 runs in the 7th, I think, to win 3-2, right?
Yeah. So, look, all in all, great start to their season. Gavin Sheets, pinch hit home run, okay, that's awesome. But yeah, all in all, great start to their year. And what was to you, because I have something, what was the biggest thing that stood out to you today?
Well, you already said there were a couple of things that stood out to you as the biggest.
Well, I meant for you.
I mean, I would say what they're able to do to a pitcher of Chris Sale's caliber.
Yeah.
Which is just kind of grind their way through a game and force him out after 5 innings. And it gives me confidence that the lineup that I thought was really deep last year has a chance to maybe be comparable even without Jurickson Profar and Kyle Higashioka. Now we'll see. It's only 1 game, but they made Sale work. He said post-game just a grind really from the first batter. They're relentless. That's a good team, heck of a lineup. I mean, that's coming from Chris Sale, who was the National League Cy Young Award winner. So I would just say that I don't know. I mean, Michael King, you give him a mulligan and you still win a game when Michael King goes 2 2/3 innings and throws 76 pitches and leaves trailing. Mm-hmm. That's who the Padres have been. They pick up their teammates under Mike Shildt over these 1+ seasons now. And hopefully that's who they're going to be again in 2025.
I think for me individually, it's got to be Fernando Tatis Jr. 3 stolen bases today.
And he hit a ball off the top of the wall. It goes down as 3 singles, but he homered, if not for an inch.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I was listening on the radio. Jesse's gonna go off the top of the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think, hearing him post game talk about just how he's healthy. Last year he was playing on 1 leg. And so you didn't see him steal any bases last year. Last year, you know how many games he had multi-stolen bases in for last year?
It couldn't have been many. I've been saying that he's had these Tatis rules now for years. So how many? 2.
Try 0.
No game with multiple steals. How many steals did he have?
3 today.
Jeez, I thought it was 2. I didn't realize it was 3.
Was it 2?
I don't know. I just in watching, I thought it was 2. I didn't look at the box score.
I just misread it here. Yeah, it felt like he was stealing. I mean, it felt like he was just every time he got on base, he was all over the base pass. But yeah, he had 0 multi-stolen base games in 2024, and he's already got 1 in 1 game this year. He said, "quote I mean, last year I was standing on one leg. You can really see how healthy I am at right now. It's a huge part of my game. One of my favorite parts of the game. I really missed it."
I mean, I thought the biggest moment, I mean, to your point here, and there's, again, as you get in here, guys, please subscribe. You're on Content for Padres fans. Thank you for the supers. We'll get to all of them, we promise. Just click the $ below the chat box. The biggest moment in this game is what the Padres did to perfection a ton last year. It was a hit and run. 4-4 game, 7th inning after the Sheets home run. Hit and run, vacates second, ball goes through the right side. It's 1st and 3rd. That allows them to score 3 runs off Hector Neris. They didn't do that a lot the year prior. In 2023, they've been hit and run like crazy. It's not just the steals. It's putting runners in motion like they did. What just happened here? Wow. Okay. I'm trying to do 2 things at once. Texas came back and won that game.
Okay.
Vector 53, thank you for the super chat. But that, I'm telling you, that hit and run in the 7th inning could have been the difference between them winning this game or not, and they won the game. He says, great team effort. For the first game of the season. Yeah, I mean, it was so vintage. It was so vintage under Mike Shildt is what it was. I mean, Machado, bullpen, Sheets, I don't know, just timely hit. Merrill, like you said, on off sale, lefty on lefty, 1 ball, 2 strike pitch, breaking ball away. And he somehow, not only gets a piece of it, he rips the ball into center field. I mean, that was as impressive of a hit as you saw all day from San Diego.
Jackson Merrill's the first player age 21 or younger to drive in at least 4 runs in a season opener since Jason Hayward did in 2010. Manny Machado, who scored the last run, has 2. Well, that's the rest of the tweet that Dennis wrote. But he's a stud. That 2-run single in the first there off of Chris Sale. Like 10-year vets don't do that. Mm-hmm. I mean, and he's in his just 2nd season at age 21. He's just amazing. I think that the more that he continues to produce and play like this every day that goes by, it's like, hey, when's the contract going to be talked about?
I mean, they should have already. Honestly, it's going to cost them a lot of money. Is what it's going to be.
But when I was talking about Tatis, like, we have not seen a healthy Tatis since when? 2021. And even then, he had a subluxation of his shoulder, probably 2020 in that 60-game season.
Been forever.
Like, I'm serious. So,
no, 2020 he wore the shoulder thing in 2020, the COVID year. Did he not? Kevin reported on that.
I think that was 2021.
I thought it was 2020.
2021, he subluxed his shoulder in spring training, and then he had that issue the entire year, but still hit 40+ home runs. Then 2022, we know what happened with the suspension in the wrist. 2023, he came back, was not himself. 2024 was the leg issue.
According to AI, in 2020, Fernando Tatis Jr. experienced a chronic issue with his left shoulder in 2020.
Well, he also experienced a chronic issue with his left shoulder in 2021. More than
but I'm saying you'd have to go back to 2019 to the last time he was healthy.
Well, he wasn't healthy in 2019 because he broke his back.
Right, but he was healthy until he wasn't for those first 80 games.
So we haven't seen a healthy Tatis in forever. And if they can get a healthy Tatis season, the loss of Profar, I feel like it's still going to show. But, oh, my God, could you imagine if this guy is healthy for an entire season? That's something that we have not seen from Fernando. We haven't seen a guy that can go 30-30. We've said since he got up, this guy's the potential to go 40-40. And he hasn't even got close to that because he's got the Tatis rules. He's injured. He's playing on one leg. He's told not to slide, feet head first. Like, just there's a lot of things that Tatis was told he can't do because of his health, and that's rightfully so. But now it's like, hey, can we get a full year of a healthy Tatis with no restrictions?
Unfortunately, I can't even go down that path with Tatis. Like, I can't. Like, hey, if he's healthy all year, well, in 6 seasons he hasn't been. So, like, he's going to have to – I'll have this conversation September 1st and say, wow, he's been healthy for 5 months. Can he finish this season off? Because it's maybe wishful or a little bit of fool's gold. I mean, I hope it happens, but 7 years into your major league career and you've been hurt every single year, maybe this is the year. It was a good day. Hopefully he can stay healthy all year. Andrew, thank you for the super. Says, love the win as much as Jim's professional picks. Yeah, where'd you get that picture you put on Instagram? Like that close up that you like paid someone to like take of you?
I got it from Mary. I have one of you. You want it?
Oh, thanks for sending it. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. I look like I'm ready to kill you, by the way.
I don't even know what you looked like, but it was very like professional. Style Clash 619, thank you for the super. It says great win today, but we need to trade Cronenworth. No, you don't need to do anything after one game. Nothing has to be done, especially after a win. Nothing should be overly analyzed, whether it's Gavin Sheets hitting a pinch hit home run or Tatis having 3 hits or Machado coming through in the clutch. It's one game, and you take the win, and you can't summarize any one season on one game, and that includes opening day for the Padres in 2025.
Why not? Why can't we say that this team's going to win 100 games this year?
162.
Yeah. Well, the Dodgers keep winning, so they got to keep pace, right?
Right. Exactly. That's exactly right.
No, there is nothing after one game that I'm going to overreact to, and that's coming from me. Well, actually, there might be one thing. Sorry.
What's the one thing? I mean, they won.
Yeah, I know. They won, and that's great. I think the only thing I'd overreact to is actually screw it. No, nothing. There's nothing.
What were you going to say? Yuli Gurriel going 0 for 4?
No, I was going to go Xander Bogaerts. I mean, he made an error today. He had a pop, runners the corners, 1 out early in that game, pops up. He did have a hit today, but
he had a hit that should have scored Machado if not for Leaper holding him at third.
Yeah.
So no, there's no reason to overreact to anything.
I was trying.
Right?
I tried. You know me. Yeah. I got to try, but it's really hard to when they play like this. They played a pretty clean game. The only error was that Xander brain fart in the 9th. That
I was like, disaster.
I was like, if this cost them the game here, like what? I like seeing Robert Suarez out there using his second pitch that he's been working on to his advantage, because Marcell Ozuna, that dude was sitting fastball the entire time. And I think the only fastball that Robert Suarez threw to Ozuna was the one he struck him out on. And he honestly should have struck him out on his secondary pitch there, but the ump was, awful behind the plate today. Didn't call it a strike. It was a ball, but it should have been called a strike. And overall, the bullpen with Michael King giving you only 2 2/3 was really, really solid today. Like really solid.
Honestly, that's also the story of the game. Not just the bullpen, but man, the Braves had so many opportunities in this game with men on base, and
they're 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position.
They had so many chances. They left on 10. They left 2 on in the first after crossing. Remember the challenge? So they scored a run in the first. King had to go back out there, but they left 2 on. Then in the third, they left 2 on. I mean, that was the story of the game. Like Atlanta had chances to add to their lead. How about the play Lockridge made and left over the short wall? There were 2 on. That would have made it 7-3. It was 4-3 Atlanta at the time. There were 2 on. That ball was ripped to left. I don't know. Lockridge kind of made an awkward leaping play. It was a good play. I don't know if it would have left or not, is my point. He was in front of that short wall. The play that Merrill made in center field was terrific. I mean, this is a typical 2024 win. They played good defense. They got timely hitting. They never doubted themselves, and they trailed. Now, they never trailed by more than 1 run in this game, but to trail 3 times in a game to a team as good as Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta had Chris Sale on the mound, has been in the postseason 7 consecutive years, and their lineup is as good as San Diego's. So, it's a good win. Again, it's 1 game, but that is, we've said it like 10 times today, but you can't say it enough. That is vintage 2024 San Diego Padres, and I'm all for the 2024 San Diego Padres because they won a lot.
I think, if anything, going into this season, I feel like there were still a lot of Padres fans from the bad offseason, losing Jurickson Profar, not really signing anybody of significance in the lineup offensively, having Hayward, Gurriel, Martin Maldonado. I think, if anything, this game should just remind people they're a good team. Like they have a good team. I don't know how good they can be, but as of right now, health permitting, they're a good baseball team, and they're going to compete, and they can play with anybody. Like, that's just how I feel. They can play with anybody. It's about, for me now, every year teams create identities. What's the identity going to be of this Padres team? Like we knew what the identity was last year pretty early on. I feel like when they had that big comeback early against the Cubs in the season, down 8-0, and they came back to win that game. I feel like that created an identity for the team, the Grit Squad. So what is the identity here? Are we just going to carry over from last year and continue? Because that'd be awesome. But also each season is different. And how is this team going to perform? And can they put back-to-back years together? So, yeah, I think anybody out there that thinks the team's going to win 75 games after watching today's game should remind you, like, oh, actually, they have a really good team. They just got to stay healthy. And that's kind of the case with every team in baseball.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can make any assessment after one game, but my guess is their characteristics are going to be similar to 2024 because that's who their manager is. Now, the pieces have changed, but are they going to get that timely hitting from bench pieces like they got a year ago that were unexpected? They got it here today. Are they going to get good starting pitching? They didn't here today. They overcame it. That was also a theme last year. I have no concerns with Michael King going 2 2/3 innings in his first ever opening day start against a good lineup. It wasn't great. There was that challenge. There was the overturn. He didn't have good command. He's working with a new catcher by and large, right? Diaz was there briefly in 2024. So I have no concerns there, but the formula is the formula. Mm-hmm. The starting pitching has to be good. The stars have to be the stars, and they've got to be able to overcome deficits. And that's what they did last year, and that's what they did here today. I don't know if it means they're going to win 93 games. I don't know if it means they're going to win 75 games, but I do think it's encouraging. Every so often, thank you so much for the super chat, guys. If you're here, subscribe. All right, over 300 of you are here right now live, so please subscribe here on Content for Padres fans. Appreciate the super chats. Just click the $sign below the chat box as the Padres win this afternoon at Petco 7-4 on opening day. He says, love seeing the cheap contract guys like Shildt and Diaz show up today. Good start since 2024 was based on career years from cheap contract guys. Yeah, someone like Jerkson Profar, who got a standing ovation, which I thought was well earned, and a really savvy move by Padres fans at Petco here today. But I mean, the Shildt story in the spring was incredible. And then you're like, is it going to carry over? And I don't know if it will, but for one day it did. So hopefully it does.
I hope so too. I think you're going to be seeing a lot of Gavin Shildt in that lineup against righties for sure. And I think that's how you maximize Gavin Shildt. You put him in a position to succeed. And today he was put in a position to succeed. And so I think that when there's a lefty on the mound, you're going to see Yuli Gurriel, and you'll see Yuli Gurriel, more than just when lefties are on the mound, I think. But don't you feel like right now, early on the season, it should be a strictly platoon situation with those two guys, like matchup wise?
I mean, I would love to platoon everything I possibly can if I'm Mike Shildt, realizing that you're not going to do it, obviously, with your stars. But like you were kind of asking, someone mentioned Jake Cronenworth earlier. It's like, well, you're kind of asking Jake Cronenworth to go 0-for-4 in a game like this when you're facing Chris Sale, right? Like,
yeah, you're not.
But okay. Yeah. Okay, he's going to start against lefties and righties, whatever. We've had that conversation probably for 2.5 years. But yeah, I'm where I can platoon, I want to platoon. I need those advantages. I don't have anyone. The Gurriels and the Sheets and the Lockridges and the Haywards are platooning. That's the way they get on the field. That gives them the best opportunity to have success, and that's got to be the formula, I would assume, heading into the year.
You're absolutely right, and it's going to be hard for Shildt to pull that trigger on Jake,
right?
But he's got to do it, man.
He's gonna have to hit. He's either gonna have to hit left-handed pitching, or he's not going to play against lefties. I mean, how many times have we said this?
I mean, he looked awful today against Chris Sale. Now, there's a lot of players that look awful against Chris Sale, so that's fine, right? I'll give him that, but still, Jackson Merrill didn't look as lost at the plate as Jake Cronenworth did, right?
I agree completely.
and Merrill's 21 years old, but he's also a better player than Cronenworth. So
that's what I was going to say.
Going forward, you're right. He's either going to have to hit lefties, or it's going to have to be a strictly platoon. I don't care what he's getting paid. I don't care how much Shildt loves him. I don't care about how long he's been here and stuff that he's done with this team. If you can't hit lefties, you're not going to play against lefties. It's pretty simple. And Jose Iglesias is going to have to to this lineup against lefties. Yep. That's just going to happen. And
I mean, you have Jose Iglesias for a reason.
Yeah, and I guarantee you today, John, The reason why Cronenworth was in this lineup is
Opening day.
opening day. Right?
Yep. 100%. I mean, like a year ago, Iglesias, we did this on John and Jim or a wrap-up show recently. I'll just look it up. Iglesias, what did he do against left-handed pitching last year? I mean, he hit 337 overall. He had to hit 350.
Well over
He hit 400.
Yeah.
He hit 400.
So better than that.
Yeah. Hit 402 with a 999 OPS in 101 plate appearances. I'm all for opening day. They won the game. Who cares?
Mm-hmm.
But every opportunity you can get Jose Iglesias against left-handed pitching, you got to get him in there. You have to maximize opportunities to lengthen out this lineup and to give yourself a chance to win. And that's 2025 baseball. A couple of more supers here before we tell you about our title sponsor, Mark Nimitz here on the wrap-up show. Again, we'll get to all the supers. Click the $ below the chat box. If you want to become a member, click the join button down below. Padres win on opening day. HBBBV is back. He says, saw the 2025 National League MVP having dinner in Little Italy. I wonder who that 2025 NL MVP is. Is that Merrill? Is that Tatis? Is that Machado? Is that a Brave?
Well, I know who it is because I saw his Instagram post.
Who is it?
Jackson Merrill was eating at Born and Raised tonight with look like his family.
This guy's everywhere. Did you see him at my thrift store, CSU Thrift, the other day?
Your thrift store?
I mean, I've been going there. I've been buying stuff from them.
No,
you probably didn't see it. Yeah, he was at that thrift store. He's wearing Chargers gear. He's wearing LT San Diego Chargers stuff.
He is, and I'll continue to say this: the more he continues to produce and then just ingratiate himself into this community more and more every day. I mean, he is going to be the face of this franchise. I feel like he's going to be. I feel like he's going to be the front and center guy of this team, down the road. Like, yes, they got Tatis and Manny, but Jackson's only 21 years old. Like, when Jackson's 29 years old, Manny's going to be Manny's going to be done. I mean, he's going to be in his 40s. Merrill's
he'll be retired.
Bogart's whatever. Tatis will still be here, right? I just think there's something different about Jackson. Because, Tatis came up to the system, and I know he wasn't technically, he wasn't drafted by the Padres, but I consider him to be a homegrown player. Yep. Like, he never played a game with the White Sox when they traded for him, and he got developed in the Padres organization. Jackson Merrill is the first guy under Preller that I can remember who was drafted and developed and brought up and hit in this organization. And I feel like when you have those guys, it just feels different to a fan base. They're just like, they're one of ours, like from the very jump. Like, you saw him get drafted by the team, developed, come through the system, and then come up and just be an absolute fucking stud for your team.
Yeah, I mean, he could prove to be the face of the franchise this year, depending on his season. And you're right, when he's 29, I'd be surprised if either Manny Machado or Xander Bogaerts were on the team. He's got a long way to go to be Bobby Witt Jr. based on what Bobby Witt Jr. did last year.
Bobby Witt Jr. is really good,
but his numbers were like superhero-like. But if Jackson Merrill doesn't need to be anyone other than himself, because his ceiling is incredibly high. Because I don't think we saw the ceiling last year. His ceiling is 30-30, top 5 MVP,
Gold Glove,
starting all-star center fielder again. I mean, he could be an 8-time all-star with this franchise with 30+ home runs, 5+ times. I think that's absolutely realistic for Jackson Merrill. And the other thing is he's just like a gamer, winner, like whatever you want to say. It's all cliche. He comes through in the clutch. He has timely hits. So, I mean, he's proved it so far on field over the 1 year plus.
Is there any part of Jackson Merrill's game where you're like, I don't really like that?
No, I mean, I like his confidence. I mean, sometimes it's like youthful confidence. And sometimes I think he says some things that are, I don't know, sounds like a kid, but he is a kid. When I was 21, who the hell knows what I would have been saying? So whatever, he backs it up with his play is what I know. Yep. James, appreciate you, man. Thank you for the super. Thank you for the membership. He says that Lockridge home run rob. I don't know who it was. Was it Riley or Albies? I don't know who it was. But that was
I think it might have been Albies.
Well, Albies had homered.
I know.
To deep right. Did he almost homer to left? I don't know who it was. But it was a timely play. I'll tell you that.
Do you think Jason Hayward makes that play?
Yeah, probably. That short porch and left. Don't you think? I mean, you don't have to go that far to get there. I don't know. You tell me. Maybe not.
Probably. I mean, it wasn't like
I didn't think it was some crazy play.
Right.
You know,
Same thing with
go over it.
Same thing with Jackson's catch. I don't think it was this like insane,
Absurd. Yeah.
but it still just shows how good he is to make it look that easy.
Yeah. No, they were big time. Both of them were so impactful. I mean, you're taking home runs away. And one of them would have been a 3-run home run. I mean, a 3-run home run changes everything.
I know.
I was surprised we saw this much offense. 11 runs in this game. Sail King.
Well, the Marine layer didn't do anything because
beautiful out.
It went away and it was sunny and it was a day game. It was great. Now, tomorrow night might be a different story.
Yeah, it'll be cold. It'll be cold tomorrow night.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the chat in a moment. We do want to remind you about our title sponsor. With us since day one of the wrap-up show on YouTube. You're talking about 4 years of the wrap-up show on YouTube, 6 years overall of the wrap-up show. We never get the show off the ground without Mark Nimitz. Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance is an amazing insurance agent. How do we know it? Because we do business with him. We have insurance through him. I've got homeowners, life, and earthquake insurance, 3 policies. With Mark Nimitz, I've had those policies for probably the better part of 4 years. Click the link in the description down below. You'll get to Mark's website. Now, he is a native San Diegan and a lifelong Padre fan. He's been texting with me and Jim throughout the course of the last 24 hours about opening day. And he does auto and home and renters and life. And if you ever need him, trust me, he will be there for you. He will drop everything to be there for you. And he saved us so much time and money when we had to file a claim in here back in 2022. And he can do the same thing for you. So he's got great service and communication. He's a San Diegan. He'll talk to you about the Padres. You can call him. You can get free quotes online or by calling Mark Nimitz, the title sponsor. Click that link in the description down below.
Yeah, all his information is on that little ticker. mnimitz@farmersagent.com is his email address. When you reach out to Mark, let him know that John and Jim from the wrap-up show sent you.
$50,000. PTBNL, player to be named later.
Yeah, cash
considerations from the Miami Marlins.
No, I saw that. I don't like that they are looking to trade Eguy. I don't. Right. I think he should be on this team instead of Yuli Gurriel. I do. Just you look what he did against lefties last year. I just would much rather have that bat instead of Yuli Gurriel's bat. But maybe he uses Eguy as some type of package to get maybe just like another catcher. Right?
It's interesting. Yeah. In the system.
Because that to me is one of the biggest holes on this team. Like I saw the clip. You saw the clip from John Boy today? I
did, with Diaz bouncing all around.
Now, I will say, yes, King's control was
terrible.
Was awful today. Yeah. It was not good. But there were some, pitches in there that like average catchers still catch. And I don't know if he just didn't like, I don't know
see it well.
Yeah,
it looked like he wasn't seeing well. In general, it didn't look like he was seeing well.
Yeah, but I'm just like, what are you doing? What's going on here? Why can't you just catch the baseball?
Yeah, it was very odd. It was odd.
Did you notice too? Martin Maldonado was used as a defensive replacement late in this game. So I'm like, okay. So they don't really they like Diaz's bat obviously more than Maldonado's, but Maldonado, as far as his defense, they like better than Diaz,
which they've said.
Yeah,
I think Maldonado is the second coming of Pudge defensively.
Well, he has the IQ of Yadier Molina.
Right, he's Yachty, he's Pudge. The catching situation, again, one game, but it may leave something to be desired, and it might be something we spend a lot of time talking about during the season. But yeah, I mean, if it was up to me, I'd keep Eguy because I think his bat plays. But then again, he's been in the system for a long time and his bat hasn't yet played in the major leagues. Ben, what's up, man? Longtime viewer of the wrap-up show. Thank you for the generous support with the super chat. He says, yo, from Santa Barbara. This is the first opening day I've had to miss since 2016. The perils of my work. Yeah, but you got a good job. He says, glad to have you fellas around for the post-game debriefs. Thanks for everything and cheers. Cheers to you, Ben. We're excited. Ben. Another season. I do agree with the sentiment, Jim, that like you see this team on field and you're like, they'll be a tough out. I mean, Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr., Luis Arraez, this isn't a team that's just rolling over. I mean, this is going to be, this will be hopefully one of the better teams in the National League. How good? How many wins, how competitive, that'll play out. But there's no reason to think this team won't be competitive. They're always competitive. I mean, okay, 2023 was a shit show, but they've been competitive. 2021, they were like 50-30 out of the gate.
I'm saying, I said at the end.
Yeah, wheels fell off. But I'm saying, 2023 was battle year. But the other years, 20, 21, 22, 24, they've all been like intriguing. 21 was a disaster the way it finished. But again, I'm expecting them to be competitive. I'd be shocked if it was like 21 or 23, but I've been surprised before.
Yeah, I do think a huge reason for kind of making this team feel more together and all pull on the same rope, it's two guys to me. It's Shildt and it's Jackson Merrill.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think Jurickson Profar last year was a huge piece of the puzzle, but he was also on the 2022 team, So, it was Jackson Merrill or it was Jurickson Profar, but I just think that, today when Jackson Merrill had his 4th RBI, and it was a sac fly, and just the way that he acted coming out off the field, I don't know. It's just, I was like, yeah, I get it. I just, and Shildt too, for everything we talk about Shildt, and it's very cringe at a lot of times, but I've always said he's a good manager. He's a good manager. And for whatever reason, it works. And so if it works, who cares if he's the cringiest person on the planet? It works.
I think he's a good manager of people. And I also think his in-game managing plays with his aggressiveness, right? Like he's an aggressive in-game manager. They do run a lot. He does hit and run a lot. I like that. Now that could change a little bit in the postseason, and you maybe are a little cautious. I didn't think he had the most brilliant postseason managing, but whatever. But I think in the regular season last year, he was aggressive and it paid off. And I thought today he was uber aggressive, and it certainly paid off against a very good team in Atlanta. HBBBV, thank you again for the super. He says, the only good thing from Boston is Donnie. Did you see that article today from Awful Announcing? It was pretty cool. It basically said, how did Don Orsillo become beloved on both coasts? Because
I saw it, but I didn't.
Boston. Yeah, the whole article is about like Ben Fadden. It's all like Ben Fadden tweets embedded about like what he says about Orsillo for like 5 straight years. It literally is Talking Friars. It's like 5 embedded tweets of Talking Friars, and it's like this 3,000 word article. It's probably got 1 million views because Orsillo retweeted it.
Yeah.
But anyway, Orsillo is a beloved figure in Boston. He was kind of unceremoniously kicked out the door for whatever reason, and he's become a staple of the winningest era of Padres baseball ever. And he will likely finish his career here. He's under contract to finish his career here. So it is an interesting, that's kind of interesting to note that Don Orsillo, I mean, he's got a pretty big, I don't know, like legacy in San Diego. Certainly has in Boston, but I think he's established that in San Diego as well.
Yeah, Don's great. I will say this though. Don is great, but he's not as great as he is without Mud.
Yeah, that's fair. Definitely.
Like Don can go do TBS games and he'll be with like AJ Pierzynski, and he's still really good, but he's not as good. And this is not a slight on Don at all. I think he might agree. He's not as good when he's not with Mud. Like he's still fantastic. Like it's like he's an A when he's not with Mud, but he's an A+ when he's with Mud. That makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. I agree with that assessment. I mean, it's a little bit, I mean, you and I know it in what we do. I mean, it matters. Your partner matters. When I'm with you, the show sucks. When I'm with someone else, the show can be good. All right, I'm kidding. I mean, it matters a lot. It matters a lot, obviously, who you're working with.
Yeah.
Ishmael, thank you, man, for the super chat. He says, hey, guys, I'm not sure if you've mentioned it, but Manny looks jacked physically and locked on or locked in. Now, remember, last year it was a lot of elbow rehab. This year it isn't. He's like 18 months removed at this point. Yeah, he looks in very good physical condition, I would hope, in the middle of his career, making what he makes. But
he's always
I don't know what to say about Manny. I don't know what to say about Manny other than go carry them. I mean, he's gonna get his numbers. He's gonna have a good year, I would hope, and go carry this team. He said unfinished business today, so go carry this team.
Well, when you have Tatis go 3 for 4 and you have Jackson Merrill have 4 RBIs in the game, you don't need Manny to do as much, even though Manny had a great game today. 2 for 3, 3 runs scored, and that huge RBI there late in the game.
Yep.
But, it's not all just about Manny. Like, Manny can carry them for sure.
Absolutely.
But he's got help. He's got a healthy Tatis, knock on wood, all the time. He's got a Luis Arraez. He's got Jackson Merrill. Like, he has guys that can pick him up. And there have been times in his Padres tenure where you could not say that.
Right. No, I agree. I
have a question.
All right, guys. Yeah.
Oh,
what do you got?
Sorry.
No, what do you got?
What do you make of the lineup in the sense that Tatis hitting leadoff and Arraez hitting second, Manny hitting third, or Jackson in third, vice versa, and then Merrill hitting there? Do you think that should be the everyday lineup, top 4?
Not the everyday. If they told me it's the against left-handed starter lineup, I can understand it. But we made a point in the pregame that Arraez led off every game he played in last year. So I'm not certain as to why he didn't today, other than the fact that you're facing a tough lefty in Chris Sale. And I've said this for years. I love Tatis leading off. I have always loved Tatis leading off. I'll give up whatever it means, one AB with runners not on base. I could care less. He can drive himself in with his power. It has no impact. I'd rather get the extra plate appearance with him batting first than have an opportunity for him in the first inning with a man on base. I love Tatis leading off. I'd be surprised if they did it every day because they have a true leadoff hitter in Luis Arraez. Now, does Arraez have to prove he can walk and see pitches? Maybe. Is that the point they're making? Hey, Luis, you can hit, but you got to see pitches. Maybe. But, I mean, I'm cool with either. I love Tatis as a leadoff hitter, but to me, Luis Arraez is a natural-born leadoff hitter.
Dude, I after today, again, just one game. If this is the Tatis you're going to get majority of the time.
Oh, I know. He was unbelievable.
I don't know, man. I kind of might be pushing for Tatis to be this team's everyday leadoff guy.
I'm good with it.
Because here's the thing. Tatis can run. Arraez can't. Tatis can work a walk. Arraez can't. Tatis can lead off the game with a home run, and Arraez can't. I think having Tatis on the base paths ahead of Luis Arraez, where it just makes the pitcher freak out because at any moment Tatis could steal a base or cause havoc on the base pass, or just, it makes the pitcher have to really worry about Fernando Tatis Jr. You're not worrying about Luis Arraez if Luis Arraez gets on with a single every time.
Right.
I would not be surprised if they have Tatis leading off more than not.
I mean, if they do, we've been the biggest proponents. I mean, I've sung that song for forever. I mean, Tatis's career numbers leading off are absurd. And now it's not the biggest sample size because the guy's never healthy.
Right.
But he's got, I don't know, we'd have to look. He certainly has 100 games, I think, leading off in the big league. So I got no issues with it. He is special. I've always said that. You're right. The only issue is him staying on the field and staying healthy. If he's healthy, if he's actually healthy, he must be. He's running. Last year in Korea, he had a broken leg. If he's going to be healthy and if he's going to be on base and he's going to run, then he absolutely can be leading off for this team. Murray, what's going on, man? Appreciate you. As always, thank you for the super chat. Guys, if you're here, please subscribe. You're on content for you. Over 400 of you are live on this Thursday night as the Padres win on opening day. Please subscribe, and thank you for the supers. Click the $ below the chat box. Like Murray did, he says, you know how I feel about you, John and Jim. I will never be able to repay your kindness when my brother, that's right, passed away. You are two diamonds in a pile of rocks. God bless. Murray, thank you. We appreciate your support of John and Jim.
Thank you, Murray.
And the wrap-up show. You're always welcome here and on John and Jim. And go Padres is what I would say to Murray.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it, man.
We do appreciate you. While we have a moment, Jim, I do want to remind our viewers, especially on opening day, about our great friends at MOVA Globes. And we have great friends at MOVA, an amazing company. You can pick up these officially licensed MLB Globes, all 30 teams, not just the Padres, by the way. If you're a baseball fan or you have a loved one that's a fan of a team other than the Padres, click the link in the description down below. Use promo code PWS10, PWS10, and get 10% off. These spin automatically with artificial or natural light. They are amazing gifts, great keepsakes, great for a home or work office. And in addition to the MLB globes, they have so many others as well. Planetary, Earth. It's an amazing company. They're based in San Diego. The technology was invented in Cardiff by the Sea. And again, they have all 30 teams officially licensed, including the Padres. This is a great, great gift idea to kick off 2025. Click the link in the description down below. Use promo code PWS10. That's PWS10. Get 10% off your MOVA globes by clicking that link in the description down below.
Yeah, get one today. It's baseball season. It's baseball season, guys. Treat yourself. Treat someone else. Use our promo code PWS10. Description in the link below. Pick up Padres MOVA Globe today.
You'll thank us later. I promise you that. You will thank us later. I have a couple of things I wrote down here, Jim, about this game as I was watching it. How about this? So a year ago, the Padres had 38 come from behind wins. It's a big number compared to 2023 when they had like -2. And they kick off the season with a come from behind win. And I thought it was the way they did it. We talked about it with 3 different deficits that they overcame. Again, all of them were just 1 runs. To your point on Tatis, the fact that it shows 3 singles for him is like a joke because he killed that one ball.
Dude. Yeah, it should have been 2 singles and a home run.
Exactly.
and 2 stolen bases.
And the other thing that came to mind just in watching this game, and again, the Sheets moment is so impactful, but we spent like all spring being like, this bench sucks, right? And then you get a not just meaningful, like an overly impactful moment in a pinch hit spot from Gavin Sheets on opening day. Now, does that solve the next 161 games? No. But again, it's like Shilt's teams have a way of kind of proving you wrong a little bit. Like, you're like, what is this bench? What is this catching situation? What is this platoon? And it's like they just kind of like winners find solutions their way through it. And that's what happened.
I mean, honestly, Sheets was never a guy that I'm like, why is he on this? Why is he on this team?
Right.
I always liked Gavin Sheets on this team with what he did in spring and the pop that he has from the left-hand side. I mean, how many teams out there would just love to have a left-handed power bat off their bench?
Right.
A lot, and that's what Gavin Sheets is. He playing with the White Sox last year. He had double-digit home runs. I feel like he had 12 to 15 home runs last year with the White Sox, but he was on the White Sox, and he was probably playing more than he should have been playing, honestly, because that team sucked. And so now you have him, and you're going to put him in situations for him to succeed, and you're not going to overplay the guy, and you're not going to have him go out there every single day and play like left field or whatever. You're going to have him be your DH or a pinch hit batter, and they're going to put him in situations where he's facing a guy that they feel like he could do some damage against. So I have always liked Gavin Sheets when he got announced to be on this roster. The only guys that I'm like, that is a definite need of upgrade is Yuli Gurriel, Martin Maldonado, and Jason Hayward. Those are the guys right there.
Yep.
And Brandon Lockridge. I mean, Brandon Lockridge is a nice piece, but when you have him starting on opening day, that means you have a massive hole in left field.
Well, yeah, it means you're planning to start him against left-handed pitching all year, which is maybe exposing. We'll see. But I'm with you on that. I agree with what you deem to be the holes. I would agree with heading into the year. ZDEFL, thank you, man, for the super chat. This is an interesting point. He says, I swear Mud better go to Cooperstown as a broadcaster for how long he has been their analyst and how great he has been over that time. How many seasons is it now? It's a ton.
Forever.
It's a ton. I don't know the number. I'm sure someone does, and you can put it in the chat. He's worked with so many different play-by-play broadcasters as well. He has been a constant for them. There have been a lot of down years, and they've been good now this decade. He is a really good broadcaster. I completely agree with that. The Cooperstown with broadcasting is weird. I think oftentimes it goes to radio voices as opposed to any type of TV voice. I could be wrong there, but I think there's many more radio voices in this Ford Frick Hall or whatever. What'd you say?
TV voices get in.
I think it's more radio than TV.
Didn't Dick Enberg get in?
I have no idea. Is he?
I want to say. Now he's done everything, but he was mostly on TV.
Yeah, but I'm saying like a lot of these are like Vin Scully, Red Barber,
Vince Scully
Harry
I know Vince Scully
Carey,
was radio, but he also did
Harry
TV.
Cal. I mean, okay. I mean, we could look. Someone could look. I always associate it with radio, but yeah. I mean, it's an interesting point. I don't know how many analysts are in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I don't know either. But how about this? How about we just meet in the middle and say Padres Hall of Fame?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
there you go. That's a really good idea. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should be heading for the Padres Hall of Fame. I didn't realize.
So then the Padres can put Don and Mud in the Padres Hall of Fame in like 10 years.
Great idea.
So together they can go in.
That's a really good idea. What else here today? We joked about it earlier. I think we were on the air when we said it, the final segment of John and Jim. We're like, you got to extend Jackson Merrill. No, they're not going to off a hit off Chris Sale. But that I do think that pressure intensifies as I don't know if it's throughout the season or throughout the offseason. It's not even about the pressure intensifying. I just hope they're prepared to pay whatever he's worth. And what he's worth is a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna worry about it, but I'm also not gonna worry about it to the point where it's like you're sitting there and being like, after every good thing he does, you're just thinking like extend Jackson Merrill. Like he's under team control for 5 more seasons. So he's going to be around for a while here. I think when you start to really panic is if, once he gets to arbitration and these numbers are like in the 20 millions and they're still not getting a contract extension done. And there's like 2 years left of team control and they still haven't got a contract extension done potentially. That's when you start to really worry. Right now, everybody would love it. It would just be like, hey, John Seiler, you want to really match your words with action? Go give some money to some guys that are deserving of it. That it should be in a Padres uniform for a long time. So yeah, it's thought about now, but it's not. I feel like it should be at the forefront of everyone's mind.
My thought is I have zero concern that Merrill will be here for like a decade. Zero. But I have a lot of concern that the Padres are going to pay a price that is going to be higher than they could have paid. And for a team that makes no money in television and is going to be constantly, up against it when it comes to payroll, even though they've started this year 9th in payroll at $199 million. I'm just saying, can you save a few bucks by getting a deal done with Jackson Merrill? Because if you wait this thing off, you're going to have problems financially, potentially, because he's going to be worth a lot of money. When it comes to an extension. Dose Mafia, thank you, man, for the super chat. He says, we talked about this earlier. You may have missed it. He says, when does the Cronenworth Iglesias platoon start? Maybe game 2. Because we kind of theorized that Cronenworth got the start today because it was his opening day. He's been with the Padres now for, a half decade. But maybe moving forward, it is a straight platoon with Cronenworth and Iglesias, left, right.
And that's going to be hard for Shildt to do because of his how loyal he is. I feel like to Jake Cronenworth.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
To have to sit him down and be like, "Look, we are platooning you." That's going to be a tough conversation for Shildt. Now, for me, it would be easy. Like, okay, we're platooned, but for Shildt, we know how deeply he like cares for these guys, like they're his sons, and so. I am scared because have you seen the video circulating around already? And I knew this was going to come back. It was Tyler Wade at Jack in the Box. And I'm like, here we go. Tyler Wade at Jack in the Box. And you know who he's with at the window at Jack in the Box?
I forget.
Jake Cronenworth. So I'm like, oh no.
That happened quick.
Yeah.
That happened on day 1.
It's the easiest thing in the world to predict.
I think Iglesias, because he's making the money he's making and he's coming off the year he's coming off. I gotta get him in there against lefties.
How long do you give Jake? Now, I would have given him no time. I would have started right away with the platoon. But how long do you think how long do you think this thing could go before we start literally pulling our hair out of like, why is Jake hitting against lefties?
I don't think he's going to hit against lefties.
Okay,
I could be wrong. I don't think he's going to hit against lefties. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they're paying.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, but
because the team will be better.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point is you put the best team out there, with the best players out there. for the best situations.
Or maybe he does start against lefties, but then you get later in a game, and if someone comes out of a bullpen that's a lefty, that's when you go to Iglesias. But
that would make no
I
sense.
kind of think just go to the platoon.
Yeah, and look, if they bring in a lefty later in the game, then you can pinch hit Cronenworth for Iglesias.
If they bring in a righty, yeah.
Or sorry, righty. My bad.
Yeah.
Been a long day.
Yeah, this to me is a pretty easy conversation, but you're right. There's a loyalty to it, and he started a lot of games for this team. They haven't really platooned him, but I love this super chat, by the way, from Nick, who says all Kevin Sheets needs is an explicit post-game interview, and he's guaranteed a mural. Also, play him every day until he goes over. Man, he can run into a ball, can he?
Yeah,
Now,
he can.
I mean, again, like you said, with the White Sox, I mean, he had 500 plate appearances last year. Like, what?
Yeah.
And he hit 10 home runs, I think. But
I was 10.
This is
what did he hit? What did he hit 2 years ago? I feel like he had 1 year where he had like 15.
He did have a year with 15. Last year, 10. The year before 10. 2022, he had 15.
That's what. Okay.
And his first year, he hit 11. But dude, if you're Gavin Sheets, you're like, oh my gosh, like the stadium has people, and the team scored more runs than the other team. Although I know the White Sox won today. But what an opportunity if you're Gavin Sheets. And he said the right things, by the way, post game. He's like, there's stars here. Like, if I can help, if I can contribute to make them better, I'm all for it. So, team guy, he's been through the BS of Chicago for the last 4 years, and now he's here to help. He doesn't need to play every day. He just needs to help, and he did that in a big way.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be a superstar. He doesn't have to be ever hitting in the middle of this lineup. He just has to go out there and do your job. He has a role. And he mentioned it at the end of the game. He's like, we got the superstars on this team. There's no way I'm coming in here and being like, I need to be a superstar. Like, I'm here to do my job. I have a role, and I'm going to do it. You know, that's what I'm going to do, and that's what I'm going to focus on. And that's the type of players you need on this team. Is I'm here to do a role, and I'm here to just get my job done.
I like that. Yeah. And again, because when you try to do too much, you're not going to be effective. And I always think with this guy, when he was maybe exposed in Chicago, like you said, playing too much, now you're not going to be asked to be that person. And he said, actually, post-game as well, he's like, Shildt said, be ready when a righty is up in relief. When a righty's up in relief, you mentally start getting ready and maybe go into the freaking tunnel and swing or wherever. But he said he was prepared for that moment, and he took advantage of that moment. So credit to Sheets and a credit to Shildt for putting him in a position to succeed. HBBBV, thank you again for the super. We talked about this on John and Jim with the Clippers wishing the Padres good luck on X. I still find it a little odd.
You know why I find it so odd is because they also wish the Dodgers good luck on X as well.
Gosh, they can't have the dual Padres-Dodgers hat.
Do you think like the admin accidentally did it? Like, what?
I don't know, man. Is it because of the San Diego Clippers? I guess. But why wouldn't they have the San Diego Clippers send out the tweet?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's very weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I know that they've had a lot of Padre fans over the years. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George come to mind. Although I think Paul George is a fan of a lot of teams.
Yeah.
But that's okay. He's been supportive of the Padres. We saw him, I think, actually at that golf. He's been there before for the golf events in the offseason. Mm-hmm. And he's been at Petco wearing Padres stuff. But Kawhi actually is a Padres fan.
Yeah. It's funny that the Clippers have done more to show their support for the Padres than the Padres have done for SDFC. And no, I'm not going to use them putting heart emojis as like.
Yeah, they gave heart emojis to SDFC today.
Nope. Doesn't count.
Well, if they win the World Series, will you mention that on the World Series winning show? That they didn't wish the SDFC good luck?
No, but if SDFC wins the MLS Cup and the Padres don't say anything, then yeah, I'll mention that.
I don't know if they're going to get it this year or not, but we'll find out, I guess, coming up later this year. Every so often says, who replaces Weighty for Gatorade duties? I mean,
that would be, I would say Brandon Lockridge, but he's actually playing.
Maldonado?
No, Maldonado is actually going to play.
I know, in his catcher's gear.
It's a good question. Yeah, one of the
who's the bench? Who's the full bench? Lockridge, Sheets, Maldonado, Iglesias,
Gurriel.
It could be Yuli, man.
But Yuli's in the lineup, dude.
All these guys are in the lineup. They put a bench more than their starters.
It just shows you, like, like, I'm glad they made the right decision with Tyler Wade. There was no reason he needed to be on this team.
Completely.
It's just he brought no value. I'm sorry. I know that Shildt loved him and players loved him. That's great. You can have really good friends, and that's great. That's awesome. There's no need to have him on this team. And guess what? No one's going to probably pick him up on waivers, and so he'll return to this team. He'll be in this organization, right?
Yeah, no, completely. We can get back to it in a moment. We do want to remind our viewers about our longtime friends over at Underdog Fantasy. If you use promo code PODSWRAP, that's PADSWRAP, you're going to get a 50% deposit match up to $1,000 and a free gimme pick as well. So again, promo code PODSWRAP, click the link in the description down below or scan that QR code on the screen. Get a 50% deposit match plus a free gimme pick. You can play this now across all sports, including Major League Baseball. So obviously, MLB, Padres, Pick'ems, you can play each and every day, all season long with Underdog. It could not be simpler. It could not be easier to play Underdog. Here's the thing. You can combine sports. You can play NBA like Donovan Mitchell, higher than 23.5 points. And then you can play something in Major League Baseball as well, like Josh Lowe, higher than a half home run. By the way, if that hits, then $10 pays $121. Just that combination. If that combination hits, $10 pays $121. You can win 1,000 times your money in a single night. 1,000 times your money in a single night. Playing Padres Pick'ems, playing across sports, Major League Baseball and NBA, college basketball going on right now as well. Underdog Fantasy, we've had some huge wins, Jim, over the years. Couldn't be simpler, couldn't be easier, couldn't be more fun. Use promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. And you can click that link in the description down below.
Yeah, there's also a QR code above my head. Download the Underdog Fantasy app right now. When you download the app, you have to use our promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. And once you start playing, you're going to have some fun. So tomorrow, John, I see you're looking at the Padres. Yep. What do we got? We got Dylan Cease higher than a what? What'd you pick there?
Well, all we have right now are the starters. So we have Ronaldo Lopez for Atlanta and Dylan Cease for the Padres. You can take higher than 1.5 strikeouts in the first inning right now, and they'll have more props coming up. You could take, and that pays higher, but you can take higher or lower than a half run allowed in the first inning. So you could take lower there if you don't think they'll allow a run. And then you could take higher or lower than a half run allowed in the first 3 innings.
There will be more tomorrow for sure. But once they come out, play some Underdog Fantasy, higher or lower on Padres, and get it going, man.
Get it going. Use that promo code PODSWRAP, PADSWRAP. All right, man, off and running, dude. 2025.
We are back.
We are back. Padres are 1-0. You can join us tomorrow on John and Jim. We have a short show, Jim, tomorrow on the radio, 2 to 4, because of the Sweet 16. But we will have Kevin Acey on the show tomorrow, our Padres insider. So the latest from Kevin, who covered this game here today, who will be on the beat all season long for the Union Tribune. He will join us tomorrow, I expect, at some point at either 2:30 or 3 p.m. tomorrow. Ooh. I think
they actually aren't. They actually aren't, because both games are not on the same time. And I would predict also, by the way, on Saturday, both games, like you said, will sell out.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of going up against each other because, again, what percent of people are going to do both? I don't think a large percentage of people will do that. That seems a little unlikely, but they're going to sell out both.
I already looked for STFC. That game is a sellout. Padres game will be a sellout. So I think that's pretty awesome. You're going to have 2 sporting events.
80 grand? 80,000 people?
With major, league teams, with the Padres and Major League Baseball, and then STFC with MLS. 2 pro teams, and they're going to both sell out on Saturday night. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, you're probably talking more than 80,000 is my guess. I bet the Padres announced more than 45, and San Diego FC probably announced around 35. So yeah, around 80.
Did you see today was the largest crowd in opening day history?
Yeah, what they announced? What was the number? Oh, just over 45.
What was the number? It was 45,568.
That's a big number. It was such a nice day. It was such a nice day down there.
Literally perfect.
Perfect. JD Gatcher, man, appreciate you as always. He says Snell being Snell, 5 innings, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. Yeah, I'm not counting on Blake Snell in March.
Yeah, not either. No,
I can't believe he's on the mound in March.
I know. And if he is on the mound in March, it's going to look a lot like the game today. No control, 5 and dive, a lot of pitches. That's who Blake Snell is, But again, he'll have moments where he looks unhittable. And most teams are going to take that risk, and the Dodgers are doing it, and they can afford it because their offense is great. And Shohei had another home run today, and they're 3-0.
How bad are the Angels going to be if they lost the White Sox 8-1 on opening day?
Very bad.
Is that a fair statement to make?
Dude, the Marlins had a walk-off today.
Yeah, Marlins had the Pirates, right?
I saw the Marlins had like almost 35,000 people there at their stadium.
Guess what they'll have for Tony Gwynn opening day?
35. 35, yeah. People. 35 people.
Probably 3,500, man. But that's the thing. That's the beauty of the Padres. Guess how many people will be there tomorrow night? That's a Friday night. It'll be sold out.
43,000.
Yeah, and then Saturday.
45,000.
And then you got the Sunday night baseball, which is the late afternoon in San Diego.
Yep.
So it's going to be, and then there are going to be huge crowds all weekend long. I know that.
And then you got the Merrill bobblehead on Monday, 45,000.
45,000. And Cleveland was good last year. Cleveland won today. That's it's still school. It's early. That Monday through Wednesday, we'll see how they draw other than the Merrill, but they're going to draw, man. The Padres with their season ticket memberships and coming off 3 million fans, they're going to have another great year, hopefully, at the turnstiles.
Like they're going to potentially have 180 to 190,000 fans for their first 4 this series.
Yeah.
And then again,
that's exactly right.
Yeah. And then let's just be conservative here against the White Sox or the Guardians. Another 120 to 130,000 fans in that series as well.
Yeah, like 45 and then 40 and 35.
You're going to have 300,000 fans, over 300,000 fans for the first home series, first homestand of the year.
Yeah. They're rolling. They really, and we were down there, man. The atmosphere in the East Village and the gas lamp area is unbelievable. It's incredible.
Like, think about that. 300,000 fans for the first 7 games of the year.
Well, times that out. Times it by 10. That's 3 million in 70 games.
Yep. So they're well over 3 million.
Yeah, that would be a 3.3, 3.4 pace. They did 3.2, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And they never drew 3 million until this decade.
Never.
Until COVID, I don't think it's been an incredible run. And by the way, they need it again to spend 200 million. I don't doubt that when they say that. I mean, to spend like that, they're going to need
fans out there to buy tickets.
Yeah, if they're going to spend $200 million. Guys, appreciate you hanging out on night one. We'll be back with you tomorrow night. A lot of you subscribed tonight. We're pushing towards 8,100 subscribers. I think we said we have to get to 10,000 subscribers this season or we delete the channel. So if you haven't subscribed, please do it. We have year-round content for you. We really do appreciate it. It couldn't be simpler or easier. Just subscribe. Smash the like button. That helps with the algorithm. Follow us on X. We're there constantly, too much, at John Schaefer, at Jim Russell SD. For those of you here on replay, thank you for the super thanks. Thank you for your support of the channel. For those that have become members or want to become members, click the join button. We appreciate you. We will see you tomorrow on John and Jim. Thank you to our partners, Mark Nimitz at Farmers Insurance, back as our title sponsor for year 4 on YouTube. Thank you, Mark. If you have an insurance need, click below. If you want a MOVA Globe, make sure to use promo code PWS10. That's PWS10. Click the link in the description down below. If you're playing Underdog Fantasy, remember to use promo code PODSWRAP for a 50% deposit match and a free gimme pick. That's PADSWRAP. Click that link in the description down below. Jim,
John,
get some rest.
Oh, I will.
I'll be watching replays of the Sweet 16. For Jim, I'm John. This has been the Wrap Up Show.